We were over at the AP Bell Fish Company and Cortez. They have massive amounts of fish in their big freezer, but they don't have power. So we were able to facilitate a generator over there to keep that fish good. I know they're going to be selling that all around the world and even locally here when they get back up and running. There's been a lot of concern, obviously, about getting all the power back. We, of course, 50,000 linemen were pre-staged, and they are working very quickly on that. There's been 1.7 million accounts restored since the storm hit. And keep in mind, the storm, this time yesterday, the storm hadn't even left the state of Florida entirely. So those folks are working on it. I know this area is a priority for FPL. I think they've got about 670,000 customers that they're working on. And I think you're going to see some progress there because certainly they've got a lot of muscle here to be able to get that job done. Also, I know people have concerns about fuel. There's a lot of interest in these gas stations. There's fuel available. It's just the gas stations, if they don't have a generator, then they need that power to get back on to be able to operate the pumps. And I do think the power is going to get on as rapidly as humanly possible. But in the interim, if you don't have a generator, those pumps won't operate. I know Kevin's working with some of them to do it. A lot of the major stations, quite frankly, should have generators in Florida, but they are working that issue. Now, if there's issues with the port here in Manatee with the fuel terminal, and I know Kevin's working on some of that, we will work to bring fuel in from other places if that needs to be done. But I know there's a lot of fuel in the ports that were not taken out prior to the storm, so that'll happen. And we're going to make sure that there's fuel. But we do have a lot of fuel in the state of Florida. We've got 1 million gallons of gas, just state inventory sitting around that can be used, 1.5 million gallons of diesel, and then you still have to be able to do the dockside at the Port of Tampa, these other places. So that's being worked on. Debris. We surged the state. You had debris after Helene. And, the way these debris contracts work, I know the cities have them, the counties, the contractors, whatever, but a lot of times the debris takes forever. Clearly, with another storm approaching, there was a lot of debris. So we paused a lot of our road projects with the Department of Transportation, and we did an emergency debris removal, and we were here in Manatee, the Berry Islands, Pinellas. We did like 50,000 cubic yards of debris in 72 hours. That was a 24/7 operation. Now, I have roads that have to be built that we're under. I've got a lot of jobs throughout the state that have to go on. So it was never the state's responsibility to do the debris in the first place. So you're going to have these contractors, the cities, the counties, to get working on it. We want to be helpful if we can to facilitate that. And Kevin is working with FEMA to maybe handle the debris in a way that's going to incentivize more rapid attention to debris. The norm in a major hurricane, debris takes sometimes a year to get picked up. I don't think that makes sense. I don't think that's good for recovery. I don't think the debris ended up being projectiles that caused much additional damage like we feared. Now, part of it is we did get a lot of the debris up that was there, but I still just think you gotta get the debris. So they're working on that with FEMA to be able to provide maybe some more attractive incentives in terms of how this stuff is reimbursed. But we understand that's going to be an issue, especially with local cities that may not have very big budgets. But our emergency debris mission, while I have to use that stuff to do what their normal business is, I did do the executive order saying that debris should be 24/7. So you should have your debris sites open so that if private citizens are bringing debris, that they have a place to drop it off. That should be the expectation. We want to harness that to be able to get rid of this stuff as soon as possible.